thank you so much for joining me here for the reading today from the book The 7 O'Clock Club. It's so nice that you have been able to join me. It's nice when we get together and share a book in our Hollywood book club. So please make yourself comfortable. This is in fact a new edition cover, and I hope you like it. Friends, old and new, life is like a cocktail. Choose your ingredients wisely, and if you don't like it, change it. Live your life, choose your cocktail, and don't stop believing. If it's okay with you, I will simply start at the beginning of the book with chapter 1 to dip our toes into. In this holiday read book, or beach read, some might say chicklit or a bonkbuster. Certainly romantic fiction. Enjoy. I'm coming home. There's a corner of the world just waiting for you, waiting to be discovered. A gem, your gem. New acquaintances feeling like old friends, and the sense of it all that you are coming home. When life feels like it's not right and you seek that glimmer of hope, taking those first steps may be enough to uncover a place that we never knew existed, a place that reignites that fire in you that had been slowly burning out. Change can be a scary thing, but does it scare you more doing nothing? A few days may be all that you need, and what a difference a day could make. What a difference 7 days will make. We don't know when our time will be. Are you ready to take that first step? Is this your time to rediscover you, to rediscover and ignite your dreams, to rediscover love, your place, your gem, your time? Chapter 2, Go Your Own Way. For those that are interested in 70s music, each chapter is a title of a 70s song. can't live like this anymore. Damn you, Tom. Don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You're giving up on us. You know you are. Yes, I am. I'm tired. Tired of the empty promises. Tired of what? Me? I'm tired of it all. What started as a heated argument trailed off into just words that seemed easy to say but draining to deliver. Gabrielle picked up her handbag and placed it on her luggage. She wanted to just walk off in a dignified manner, leaving her old world behind her, but a few last words lingered around in her mouth, and she stopped and turned and walked back over to her husband. Should she kiss him goodbye? Say she was sorry that it had come to this? In her mind she placed her hand gently on his cheek. "What the hell, Gabrielle, was that for?" said Tom, in shock, holding his hand close to his cheek while the sting of her slap cooled down. "Something to remember me by." It was close to what she had imagined, and part of her had been wanted to say and do something nice. After all, they had been married for nearly 10 years, although it seemed longer. But the slap just seemed to say it all. Maybe it was not dignified, but she knew she had bottled up her feelings for too long. Tom had always promised to have those chats, but there was always something else more pressing. One by one, the little things gathered moss until they were finally great big boulders hurling down the hill, crashing into her once blissful life and marriage. With flights being called all around her, Gabrielle picked up her luggage and made her way to the check-in desk, not wanting to turn around and look at Tom. It was one thing pretending to be okay and strong, but if she turned and saw Tom, it may weaken her resolve. She may start feeling sorry for him or doubting her feelings. She was often guilty of getting lost in her own thoughts and mind, something that Tom loved about her when they first met, but later became a familiar nugget that he used as a weapon to tease her in the middle of an argument. "Well, Gabrielle, I wish we could all just live in this fantasy world of yours, where the sun always shines and the rainy days are happy days, and being relaxed is the new success." She handed over her passport and paperwork as swiftly as she could, just in case Tom, in fact, came over and created a scene. After all, no one likes to get slapped in public. Doing it had surprised her, as she was not the one in the marriage who had normally made a scene. She couldn't even say that Tom was. To make a scene would mean that you have to care, and she'd seen very little of that over the past years. As her passport was handed back, she drew a breath. She rather liked this feeling of being back in control. She turned hesitantly to find Tom had gone. Something inside her felt a little disappointed, but equally relieved. She walked slowly towards the escalators that would take her through security onto her gate, and she stopped and looked around. Families, business executives, all briskly went about their day, with a few men in suits taking a second glance at Gabrielle. She wasn't what you would call stunning, but she was beautiful, a natural beauty, and for her age she could still easily turn heads. Just not her husband's, it seemed. Individuals hurried past her to catch their flights, those having to work or wanting to play, looking for adventure or leaving their lives behind. Had he really gone? Why didn't he want to fight for their marriage? But who was she to question him? She was the one who had packed her bags. Would she have wanted him to fight for her? Yes, but there had been too many times and too many lost opportunities. It wasn't just him. They had both forgotten they were friends as well as husband and wife. Lovers they had been had once seemed a distant memory. She almost couldn't blame him for having an affair. Almost, that is. He swore blindly that he hadn't, and that it was a friendship, which almost made it worse. She had nearly had an affair herself. It can be very alluring, having a man really see you and want to listen to you, even if it is just to get you into bed. But she refused to be tempted. Marriage to her was something precious, something that needed looking after, something to be worked at and be proud of. She was never one to sleep around, and the thought of finding the one to build life together was always more appealing. Two soulmates, sharing their dreams, the highs and the lows, growing more in love by the day, surrounded by the memories they made and shared together. However, reality had been more like a beautiful crystal vase that was originally cherished, noticed and enjoyed, until one day it was just a practical item that had been dropped a few times, with corners glued back on that now didn't stop the water trickling out. Not fit for purpose. Now just the right time for her to start a new chapter. Now felt just the right time to start a new chapter. I apologise. Now had felt the right time to get away. Would she come back? She didn't know. For now, she just needed space and time. She placed her luggage onto the first step of the escalator and stepped onto the next herself. As she started to rise, she couldn't help overhearing a conversation behind her. She thought they must be in their 70s, and she had a deliciously contagious laugh. They joked a little and spoke endearingly, and they were most certainly still in love. It was nice to hear, and she couldn't help but smile. As she got to the top of the escalator, she stepped off and made her way to security. She always felt like she could relax more once the security was behind her and the duty-free lay ahead of her, and with a large glass of white that was just around the corner. As she waited in the queue at the security, she noticed a gentleman in front of her, casually dressed in denim. Gabrielle found herself admiring the small amount of skin he showed around his midriff, a very toned midriff, while he peeled off his belt and slipped off his shoes. As she looked down to take off her shoes, her eyes glanced to his feet, nicely tanned, that seemed to go all the way up to the midriff, and a small part of his neck that she could see, that was set off by the pale blue of his shirt and the loose-fitting collar. A nice neck, she thought, as she wondered what the face would look like that belonged to this body. But before she could see, he was called forward and frisked before heading through to collect his belongings. He stretched out his arms, and Gabrielle couldn't help but feel a little envious of the security officer. He was on the taller side, and from what she could see, had a nice manner about him, and a very nice view from where she stood. Bringing her attention back onto her tray, she pushed it forward. This really felt like a new beginning. She was ready for this new chapter, a chapter that would hopefully fulfill her, allow her to grow without compromising what she enjoyed or wanted. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but as yet nothing was set in concrete. This was just a flight taking her somewhere warm, a flight taking her to rediscover herself. Time for her that she had needed for a long time. For a moment her mind slipped back to those she would miss, part of her old life that she had loved, those that she had hoped may have taken this journey with her. But it was good that she was doing it alone. She had doubted herself for so long that she was ready to start believing again. And as she walked through and collected her tray, she glanced up to see if she could see the man in the denim, but he'd gone. "So sorry, my dear. Have you the time? They've sent my tray with my watch spiralling down to the other conveyor belt. Bastards. They've probably found your stash of drugs," laughed her husband. Oh, it was the couple who had been on the escalator behind her. "Don't say that. They'll be wanting to frisk me next," replied his wife again with this utterly delicious laughter. A laughter that was so contagious that you really couldn't tell if she was naughty or nice. "Keeping my fingers crossed. Fetch me the oil from my bag, darling, just in case they do," she whispered loudly as they chuckled together like two children full of mischief. Oh, she was naughty, thought Gabrielle, but just wonderful. What a breath of fresh air. It's just 6:30, Gabrielle replied, fixing her watch to her wrist. "Thank you, dear. Let's hope they don't keep me too long. I've done this journey countless times, and they always search my tray. I think they just want to get their hands on my smalls." You haven't worn smalls since, God, I can't remember when. "Come on, you, let's get your tray. joked her husband Barry. "Mind you, I can't often remember what I did last night or 5 minutes ago," he added, shaking his head with a wry smile. "I can," she whispered to Gabrielle with a wink and again that playful laugh, and walked off to join her husband to retrieve her tray of goodness knows what. Gabrielle slipped on her shoes, lifted out her hand luggage and turned to place her tray on a pile of others. "Oh, I'm so sorry," came a very calm American accent. "Please let me." And the tanned gentleman that Gabrielle had noticed took her tray, placed it together with his, and added it to the pile. "Oh, thank you," replied Gabrielle, hoping something sexy or witty would follow from her mouth to get his attention. Words weren't needed. He had noticed her earlier, and she had his attention. "No problem. Have a good flight now," he replied, stopping for a moment to subtly admire before smiling softly, picking up his bags and walking away. "Isn't he bloody gorgeous, dear?" said Betsy in Gabrielle's ear quietly as she wheeled her hand luggage up next to her. Both ladies momentarily watched him as he walked towards the duty-free. Gabrielle, feeling a little flustered that someone had seen her staring, recomposed herself. "Oh, you got your luggage okay then?" she asked Betsy. "Yes, yeah, they found my drugs and bottles of gin. All a bit of a fuss about nothing." Gabrielle's mouth fell open a little, not sure if she was being serious or not. "Right, Barry, darling, let's replenish the drinks cabinet. I want to find something new to play with," replied Betsy to her husband. "Dear, once we get our booze from the duty-free, we'll be heading to the first bar to the left as you come out the other side. Join us if you like. It'll be just about time for 7 o'clock cocktails. Part of our ritual to have a sneaky one before our flight is called. Us Brits, we've got to stick together." "I heard that, Betsy," said Barry, her husband, taking her arm and softly reminding her. "I am Dutch, as you well know, Elizabeth." I know you are, darling," replied his wife, who raised her eyebrows as if to say, "Men." "He's calling me by my full name, dear. Better dash before I'm in trouble," she laughed. "See you on the other side, hopefully." Gabrielle really liked her. Barry was more reserved, but they both had such a warm aura with a good dollop of fun and trouble she couldn't quite decide. Double-checking that she had all of her possessions, as she always had, that feeling that she'd left something behind, she started to make her way to the duty-free, where she spotted in the first aisle the Hawaiian shirt of Barry, and could hear them laughing as she made her way to the Joe Malone counter to see if they had any of the new scents. If not, she would pick up her favourite, the lime, basil and mandarin. Casting her eye over the many clear rectangle bottles, no new scents caught her attention, so she picked up a bottle of her customary favourite, spritzed her wrists and handed a new bottle to the cashier. As she made her way to the next aisle to grab herself a bottle of her second favourite, a bottle of Grey Goose, her eyes locked onto a familiar sight, the blue denim, the nice back, and shoulders standing right there where she was. "Great minds think alike," she said, trying to act casually as she leant forward to pick a Grey Goose off the shelf. The denim stranger looked round with a bottle in his hand, his blue eyes meeting hers. She couldn't help feel herself blush a little. Was she staring again? He was very good looking. "Hey, yeah, great minds indeed." Was just deciding should it be one bottle or two. "Two. Always two," she replied, keeping her eyes locked on his and hoping that wouldn't make her sound like an alcoholic. "Well, two it is," he replied while keeping her gaze and noticing how beautiful lips were when she said two, soft and gentle and precise. He couldn't help but breathe the moment in, her stunning green eyes, a warm glow that radiated off her face, her long hair casually scooped up with a few pieces of hair trailing indiscriminately around her face and neck, and a wonderful aroma of mandarins. "You're English?" "Sorry, what I meant to say was what a lovely accent," he finally said. "Yes, sorry," she replied, realising how dull that sounded, and considered for a moment to elaborate and throw in perhaps that she had an Australian twang too, as she thought that sounded more exotic. But before she started to dig herself a hole, he had replied positively, "I like it." And with a smile added, "I don't suppose you would like one of these before you catch your flight? That's if you have time." Gabrielle thought for a moment about her other offer for 7 o'clock cocktails with the couple she had met through security, Normally when she travelled she hardly spoke to anyone, and that included her husband. And now here she was getting invited for drinks twice. What had changed? Maybe she had already. "I have time, my flight is delayed a little," but she trailed off. Was this something she should do? After all, she didn't even know him, but he seemed nice and looked even better. "I'm sorry, I'm Gerard," and he held out his hand and to shake hers gently. "All right, yes, sorry too, I'm Gabrielle," she replied, holding out her hand. Their hands gently met with their long, delicate fingers sliding into his strong, tanned hand that closed gently around hers, and that felt like they had been made for each other. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. Shall I stop there? I'll stop there. Perhaps in another reading I'll continue if you like that. So, by the author, Paige Summers, The 7 O'Clock Club. Can 7 days ever be enough? Be a part of the 7 O'Clock Club today. One chance encounter drawn together irrestrictibly, and 7 days of choices. The 7 O'Clock Club is a masterful contemporary woman's blockbuster that 7 days is more than life, love and loss. It's life-changing. Could Gabrielle really create a new life for herself and trust her heart? Could she have it all? Gerald feels the instant attraction and wants Gabrielle. It's like it's meant to be. Or is it? This summer's feel-good read over 7 days with the 7 O'Clock cocktails will unfold heartwarming and poignant characters, new friendships, and sweep you away on a giant wave of emotions, touching and uplifting, funny at times, and yet sad and heart-wrenching at the turn of a page. The next 7 days will be hot, intense, and emotional. Are you ready? Thank you so much. And I'll be very happy